Hello, my name is Aaron Zhang, 2024, and today I will be presenting about reduced food waste. When food is wasted, all of the energy that is spent producing that food is also wasted. Reducing food waste consequently reduces carbon emissions by reducing the amount of energy used to produce food that will not be wasted. How do greenhouse gases affect us? So let's talk about these patterns and these trends that we can see but with this Keeling curve. This Keeling curve demonstrates the carbon dioxide levels in parts per million in the atmosphere. The graph shows and supports the idea that carbon dioxide levels continue to rise in our atmosphere yearly, and it illustrates the importance of preventing global warming. We can see that in each year, the Keeling curve follows a similar pattern. It shows that carbon dioxide levels peak around April and June, and they are at their lowest point around October and September, before rising back up to April and June of the next year. This is greatly thanks to the seasons of the year, as during late winter and early spring, many trees have little to no leaves on their branches, meaning that there are less plants doing photosynthesis, meaning that there are less plants capturing carbon dioxide. During the summertime and into the fall, which is here, plants thrive with their green leaves stretching out to the sun to do photosynthesis, meaning that there are more plants capturing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, therefore, there is less carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The multi-year trend shown by the Keeling curve demonstrates how every year there was a substantial increase in overall carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. We can see this with the graph continuously going up as the years go by. There are many reasons that these trends may occur, which includes the use of fossil fuels in daily human life as well as many other factors. These increase the amount of carbon dioxide emitted into the atmosphere, upsetting the balance previously existing on Earth. Now, let's talk about the patterns and trends visible in historical data graphs. This is an example of a historical data graph. The historical carbon dioxide record graph shows how much carbon dioxide is emitted into the atmosphere over the course of the years by burning fossil fuels and other industrial processes. It is important to show the historical graph next to the Keeling curve because it illustrates the connection between the increase of burning fossil fuels and the increase in carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere. We can see that the early 1800s, humans began to start burning fossil fuels, and they began to start emitting carbon dioxide into the atmosphere during these industrial processes. At around 1950, the amount of carbon dioxide emitted skyrockets, and it continues to skyrocket to this day at a rapid and concerning rate. Using this information, it is clear that the increase in carbon dioxide emissions due to the burning of fossil fuels and other industrial processes directly affects the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. In this case, increasing the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere at a steady and concerning rate. These two graphs in combination suggest that in the future, if these trends continue, carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere will continue to rise, eventually getting to a point where it can be dangerous for humans to live outside. This highlights the importance of awareness for global warming and the importance of reducing carbon emissions. This is the carbon cycle. This simple carbon cycle sketch shows the storages of carbon, the energy flows between different storages, as well as the processes occurring during the energy flows. We can clearly see the cycle between carbon and the balance that they have naturally. We can see multiple storages of carbon written in blue. To start, plants are an important part of the carbon cycle. They use carbon dioxide already in the air to do photosynthesis and use oxygen in the air to do cellular respiration. They also connect to fossil fuels. As when plants die, they decompose and eventually may turn into fossil fuels. Fossil fuels, however, are inadvertently burned up by humans in the process of combustion, which is not part of the earthly balance. This is the main cause for why carbon dioxide levels are rising in the atmosphere. We can see that rocks are also a large storage of carbon. They connect to volcanoes and their eruptions, which also release carbon into the atmosphere. These rocks are formed by sedimentation from the oceans, which is yet another storage of carbon. These connections all lead to a balance in the carbon cycle, which is unfortunately upset by the burning of fossil fuels. These pictures show the greenhouse effect and how it works. The picture to the right shows how greenhouse effects greenhouse gases trap heat in the atmosphere, therefore causing temperatures to rise. There are three main types of greenhouse gases: coal, oil, and gas. All fossil fuels naturally come from the decomposition of plants and animals living millions of years ago. These are massive storages of carbon. When they're burned up by human activity, this carbon that was previously trapped for millions of years is released into the atmosphere. The term greenhouse is used because it relates to a real life greenhouse, which traps heat inside of it to keep the items inside of the greenhouse at an optimal temperature. Similar to this, greenhouse gases trap heat inside of the Earth's atmosphere. Without greenhouse gases, the sun energy hits the Earth's surface, as we can see on this picture. Some of it is absorbed, while some of it bounces back into space. However, with greenhouse gases, the energy that bounces off the Earth's surface is trapped inside of the atmosphere, which is denser because of all these greenhouse gases. This heat is the reason why the temperatures are rising. With the graph on the left, we can see that greenhouse gases emissions have risen dramatically from the early 1800s to modern day. This also relates to that of the global temperature graph right here and shows that greenhouse gases have a large effect on the global temperature. We can see that around the same time that fossil fuels began to start being popularly burned, we can see that the temperature drastically rises above where it has ever been before. One reasonable and easily adopted method to decrease carbon dioxide emissions is reduced food waste. When food is wasted, all of the energy spent in producing that food is also wasted. Reducing food waste consequently reduces carbon emissions by reducing the amount of energy used to produce food that will not be wasted. Here we can see that agriculture and creating food is one of the leading causes for carbon dioxide emissions. According to various tests, reduced food waste can lead to an estimated over 88.5 gigatons of carbon dioxide reduction at a small to no cost. Compare this to, for example, rainforest restoration, which was an estimated to reduce over 54.45 gigatons of of carbon dioxide at a much higher cost. And reduced food waste is a very realistic and easy to conceive solution. This method simply asks for civilians, like me and you, to be more aware about what we are throwing away into the trash. There are many leftover foods that can be saved and reused into other things. All of the energy used to produce the food will be completely wasted if it was thrown away. This can even help you, as it can save the cost of buying more food instead of using what is still usable. This is also an incredibly easy method to implement into daily lives, as it doesn't require people to go out of their way to reduce the amount of food they throw away. Overall, it is important to be aware about our surroundings and our Earth, as it is the only place that we currently call home. This awareness can lead to the benefit of everyone in the world, because these carbon dioxide levels, if these trends continue to move on, there are serious risks that we might be facing. Thank you for your time to watch this presentation, and I hope that this information helped you understand more about this topic. It's a topic that's not very well understood, but it's a very important topic that covers what is possible in our future and the future generations as well.